Welcome back.
What's going on, everyone?
Today we are discussing.
We are reviewing Dandanon, the Evil Eye movie, which is basically season 2. They give you a sneak peek of the first 3 episodes if you go see it in theaters.
And you can tell because every time there's a black scene, that's the end of an episode.
Yeah, there was you could definitely a climax of the episode and then they just cut. If you don't go see it in theaters, you will be upset when the episode ends.
Just like first season. Just like season 1.
Yeah, exactly. Even though season 1 ended trash. The season was fire. The season was great, but every episode ended off with cliffhanger. Right, but to end a season off so abruptly, it was kind of insane. We didn't see it coming. They literally break down the wall, and then the season ends, and you have to wait until this movie.
Gotta leave them wanting more.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Fair enough, though. The movie does pick up exactly where, obviously it's the next episodes, but it picks up exactly where season 1 ended, which I really liked.
The whole beginning was recap, so.
Right, exactly.
An entire recap of season 1.
Yeah, so if you go see the movie in theaters and you're running a little late, don't worry about it. They still have they have a scene where the directors talk to you about the movie, and then they do the season 1 highlights, and then they go into season 2. But it's not like the quarter of a movie's like season 1 recaps. It's like a quick 15-20 minute recap, and then they go into the next 3 episodes.
15-20 minutes, like a whole episode.
Fair point.
Anyways, that's how it begins. And then, what were your first thoughts after the movie ended? Let me answer that question for you.
Okay. Are you gonna tell me what you thought or what I thought?
No, I'm gonna say mine, and then you can say yours.
Okay.
So when the movie ended, I didn't know it ended. I was like, did it just end? Just like a regular Dun episode. So,
yeah, it ended, but no one was leaving the theater. So I was like, maybe I don't know something. Maybe they know something we don't. But if you don't care about what the directors have to say about the season or anything, or if that doesn't interest you, as soon as the animation stops, if you see real people on the screen,
it's over.
The movie's over. You could get up and leave. Just FYI on that. We stayed. There are no after credits. There's nothing. As soon as the episode ends, and if you watch enough anime, you know when an episode ends. You could get up and leave.
Honestly, I don't even remember how it ended. That's how abruptly it was.
Really? I'm trying to think how it ended.
Exactly.
Now you got me thinking. No, I definitely know how it ended.
Of course, if you thought about it hard enough, but
the movie was just so action packed. It kept me on my toes the whole time. Some parts, once things got in motion, you could kind of sense what was coming next, but throughout the movie, I was like, what's going to happen? There was things that were introduced that I had no idea that was going to happen. It's definitely worth going to see it in theaters, especially if you don't want to wait till July until the season 2 comes out.
Did it live up to your expectations?
No, it passed my expectations.
Surpassed?
Exceeded. Pushed past my limits of expectations.
Why?
Alright, season 1 was good, right? Just from the first 3 episodes of this season, from the movie, I feel like season 2 is going to be better. The music was phenomenal. Like, when stuff was going to pop off, it got you hyped. You knew something was going to happen. It was more of like a techno feel, but you could feel the beats in there when things was going to happen. The soundtrack itself was way better. The action... Obviously, I don't know. I know this was a movie, or they planned to make it a movie, but the animation was crisp. The plot twist, the things just kept happening. Obviously, there's still that, for whatever reason, the theme of essay. That's, you gotta take that with a grain of salt. I didn't like that.
There is no grain of salt. They're just very creepy people in the world.
Yeah, but it's there in the movie. Obviously, you don't like to. The first episode of season 1 was pretty bad. It doesn't get that bad, thankfully.
Similar
it's tough, especially there's just one scene where you see the creepy people in the hot tub or the hot spring, and spoiler alert, she confronts them again, and they grab her on the thigh, sexually assaulted her on the thigh type of shit. That I could do without. It is what it is. It's in the movie. It's in the show. Other than that, the show is just phenomenal, and the movie was great too.
Was the plot easy to follow, or was it confusing at times? Let me answer that question.
Go ahead.
The plot was easy to follow. They made it really good with the visuals and the backstories, especially with the evil eye thing. They showed us where like this yokai's origin story came from and why it was so strong for him. It was actually pretty vivid.
Right.
Again, spoiler alert. All the deaths that he saw, especially I don't know if I could say it. The offing yourself of it, and he just repeatedly saw that, and it was super tragic. But they eloquated that story very well, and it wasn't confusing at all.
Yeah, no. I think it was kind of well done. Like, they had that one episode that was pretty dark about the ballerina yokai. It was pretty sad to see and stuff like that, but the plot was there. It was kind of sad. It was kind of depressing. Not to reveal too much, but there, like I said before, it kept me on my toes, right? So, like, there were elements to the story I didn't see coming that added a lot of fun to it. It wasn't just a simple, the trailer showed a bad guy, that's the bad guy, beat the bad guy, everyone goes home happy, you know? There was a lot more elements to it, and I think it built
up to it.
Yeah, but it was still easy to follow. It wasn't confusing. You didn't know what was not happening, you know? It was really good.
Re:Zero. Anyways.
Right. There's definitely other animes where you're just like, what is going on? But
how well did the movie balance action, comedy, and sci-fi elements?
Perfectly. Literally, that's all the movie's about. Comedy, they nailed it. There were definitely some funny moments. Sci-fi, the whole show is sci-fi. It's aliens and ghosts and yokai.
If there weren't any funny moments, it would be hard to watch just because of the creepy aspect of it, and then it would just be creepy and then action. And it'd be a little bit hard to watch without this comedic relief, especially from Gigi. Gigi's a really fun character, and I really enjoy him.
Yeah. They even, the Turbo Granny stuck in the cat.
Yes.
She's pretty funny, too. And she does play her part in this movie. Spoiler alert again.
You don't have to keep saying
I know. But yeah, no, the comedic elements are definitely there. The sci-fi, obviously, that's what this show is all about. And then the action was perfectly balanced. There wasn't any... I feel personally like any slow or boring moments. Even though this is 3 separate episodes, I feel like the three episodes were perfect. Like there was a little bit of action in every single one. Obviously, some more than others. There was comedy and some more than others, but like it was perfectly well balanced. For 3 episodes, like I said, it just got me super excited for the rest of the season.
Who stole the show for you? Was there anyone in particular that stood out for
Okarun stole the show for me. I feel like he was my favorite character. You see him develop more in this movie, I feel like.
How?
So in the first season, it was a little bit like kind of split personality between him and his Turbo Granny like yokai form. In this movie, you kind of see them merge a little more together, and you see him struggle more a little bit in that sense. He blurs the lines between himself and his yokai self. He's not just like some split personality anymore. He's learning how to control his powers more, I feel like, as well, like trying to rely on them and use them to his advantage. So I think he stole the show 1,000%. I feel like he's growing up. And that's really it, yeah.
For me, it was this third-eyed character. I don't know his name. Or the evil eye. I keep saying third eye. It was
the antagonist.
It's evil eye.
Yeah, the antagonist of the film. Stole the show for you?
Yeah, because at the end of season 1... you see what Gigi's seeing, which is this really creepy thing that's overshadowing him at this house he was living in.
Yeah.
And then season 2, we see it again, and it's extremely creepy, especially in the part when his head turns like 360.
Oh, they do like a complete owl, like a 180 owl.
Like a fucking horror movie. But then they show us its backstory, and that compelled me. But then he eventually turns into the main antagonist of the movie, so we don't know where it's gonna go. But my what I'm guessing is that they eventually have some sort of kind of like Turbo Granny, not Turbo Granny, the Silk Lady, the the ballerina.
Okay.
And that Gigi's gonna get this Evil Eye's powers eventually. That is what I'm guessing. But yeah, he stole the Evil Eye stole the movie for me.
Yeah, all the characters were phenomenal. All three of them: Gigi, Momo, and Okaroon. What I got most from Momo, 1,000%, is that she's definitely in love with Okaroon. Just cause like
from the moment she found out his name.
Right. But like it's even more because throughout the movie she's constantly thinking of him. She goes to the hot spring, she's thinking of him. She goes to visit some places in town and she's thinking of him. She's like, oh, maybe I should bring this him, or he'll love this. And he is constantly on that chick's mind. You could tell she's fallen heavy for him, and we obviously know that Okaroon loves them. So the romance of this is it's subtle, but like watching the movie, I was like, oh, she's like definitely falling in love with him because she's constantly thinking about what what would he like. Oh, I should go bring him here. That he would think this story is cool. Blah blah blah. So I like that about the show too.
Can't wait to see how their relationship progresses. I hope it's not until the end, but obviously animes wait for that to be to the end.
I feel like it's progressing pretty well though.
Nothing's happened between them.
They kissed.
On accident.
Season 1.
On accident. Were there any scenes that visually blew you away?
Honestly, compared to like other animes and the stuff we've seen when it comes to animation, no. Visually, just strictly visually. So like the scene wise, like yeah, I was like, oh, that's sick. You know what I'm saying? Oh, blah blah blah. Like that was fire. That's a sick scene. This fight is gas. But when it comes to like visually, purely animation stuff, nothing really blew me away. The animation is crisp, don't get me wrong. It's a newer type of anime. This was a movie quality type of animation. But if you watch things like Demon Slayer, if you watch things like Fate Zero or whatever, if you watch things like...
Not to get too far, but
right, yeah, fair point.
I did really like the scene where he's using... I guess the dead souls as a soccer
So that scene was sick. Not when he was using it, but there's a scene where that room they broke into had all those seals, right? And he condenses that power into the ball. That one scene was pretty sick. It's a really dumb thing to get excited about, but when he condenses it into that power ball, yeah, it was pretty sick.
And then he starts kicking it around, and Okaroon's running around in his Turbo Granny form. That was really good animation there. Were there any scenes that actually creeped you out or gave you chills? Like I said, for me, it was that part when the third eye turned his head 360. That was super creepy. I don't know if I got chills, but I know I was super creeped out.
That's fair. Not for me.
Not even the backstory. That was pretty sad.
It was sad. I wasn't creeped out. If anything creeped me out is when they show like on the backstory or whatever, like a shriveled up body and then it laughs.
That's
the smiles. That was the only thing, but it's nothing that'll give you or me nightmares at night.
Or disturbing it's that family that offers the sacrifices.
The characters in general, like those pale skinned people you see in the season 1, they're just creepy in general.
Season 1?
Yeah, when they hop into the hot spring with her, that almost
right.
Those people are crispy. The whole kind of place, because like
all the people, the people in that town were really like
there were some human looking people, like regular people, and then like
the people we were seeing was that family.
Right. Super creepy, but nothing out of the extraordinary, I would say.
All right, what's your final rating of the movie?
A rating is crazy. I would rate it a 9. Just because it's not a special movie that they do like with some animes. I know the most recent one before this one was like Haiku, where it wasn't just episodes, it was an actual dedicated movie. Mm-hmm. And usually when you get dedicated movies like that, they have like movie quality animation and stuff like that. But if this was just kind of the first three episodes, so the animation was kind of regular. I mean, still fantastic, don't get me wrong, but still kind of regular. It was nothing extraordinary. I feel like if it was just static, like strictly just a movie that they made this in,
compared to Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but I'm gonna just give it a 9 out of 10. It was fantastic. Final thoughts. It's definitely worth going to see this movie. If you're a fan of the show, definitely worth to. Someone's got a case of the definitely. It's definitely worth to go see this movie. Go check out the first 3 episodes before they come out in July. It was just worth it 1,000%.
I give it a 8 out of 10.
8.
Yeah.
What was
it
lacking?
was good, but I felt that it was episodes. Like you said, it wasn't a dedicated movie. Like I was just comparing it to Jujutsu Kaisen 0. You could tell that it was episodes and
the way they cut the
and the way it was
the black
cut.
screens.
Like, honestly, they could have took that out. They didn't have to black it out. It's just not.
It would have flowed a little better if it was a dedicated movie, I guess.
Yeah.
We literally, when the first kind of black screen happened, we looked at each other and we were just like, oh, that's where episode 1's gonna end. Yeah. Oh, that's where episode 2's gonna end. So yeah, I get that.
I feel like they could have, I don't know, took that out. But
it's just, like I said, it's the first 3 episodes. Yeah.
It was still good, and we're gonna rewatch it when it's on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, what was your favorite moment?
I found my favorite moment was just more of a funny one. Obviously, the movie's action-packed, but the one that comes strictly into mind, not to give too much away because I want you guys to enjoy it as much as I did, is when Momo escapes from the place they are at, right? And then she's trying to save them too. There's a specific funny moment in there that actually made me laugh. And I think you know which one I'm talking about. So that was my favorite moment. It was more of a comedic one than anything, but that's just because the movie is action-packed throughout. I can't really choose an action scene.
My favorite scene is when this is going to be riddled with spoilers. But my favorite scene is when the worm is doing that psychic thing that makes you want to kill yourself.
The worm. We haven't even mentioned the worm, I don't think. So just, you know, that's what I was... There's definitely twists and shit. If you go in blind, you know.
Alright, and Gigi was the only one not being affected by it, and we find out that's because of the evil eye. But he's trying his complete hardest to just protect his friends. Oh, yeah. And the glass is going in his arm, and it's just... He's
running away with them and stuff. Yeah, it was
He's just funny. A tough guy, but he's also very... fragile. He just loves his friends, and he's just a good guy, and I love his character.
Yeah, so he's really funny.
I like that part. That was my favorite part, I guess.
Well, to wrap it up, I hope you guys enjoyed this spoilerish review,
and we hope you go watch it.
Yeah, all in all, definitely go watch it. Support the anime community. Support Dandadan. If you're a fan of the show, it's again just worth it to go.
I went to AnimeCon last week. And there was a girl dressed as Okarun in his form that he does, but it was like a girl version of it, and it looks so sick. So you did a really good job. Anyways,
shout out if you're watching this video. Maybe that'll be our Halloween costume, Okarun and Momo. But definitely go watch the movie, and we'll catch you in the next one.